你先答应做我对象，我再带你。
I swear, I only went to that blind date event out of curiosity. It was a boring weekend and I thought, who knows? Maybe something interesting will happen. I showed up. It was one of those organized meetups, pretty formal. People introducing themselves, awkward conversations, weird atmosphere. But okay, I stayed polite, sat down, listened to some stories. Then this older woman, probably in her early 40s, started chatting with me. Nothing unusual at first, she was friendly, well-dressed. But then, out of nowhere, she hits me with, "Let me be direct. Would you be willing to be my fake boyfriend for Chinese New Year? I'll pay you. You just need to come to my parents' house and pretend we're together." I froze. I thought she was joking. But she wasn't. She went on explaining how her relatives always bug her during the holidays. When are you getting married? Why are you still single? The usual family pressure. She said she was sick of it, and that last year, one of her friends hired a rent-a-boyfriend, and it worked out great. "You're young, presentable, polite. You'd be perfect," she said. "All you need to do is smile, call me babe in front of my uncles, and after that, we go our separate ways." Man, I didn't know whether to laugh, run, or ask how much she was offering. And the craziest part? She was saying it so casually, like it was just another daily task. Like calling an Uber. Except this Uber had to pretend to love you for 7 days. I left kind of in shock. That was definitely not the kind of mature relationship I expected to run into. But hey, at least I got a wild story out of it.
This round was intense. I went back to my hometown for 5 days, and I was introduced to 3 new blind date candidates. That brings the total to number 96, 97, and 98. Candidates 97 and 98 were online only, we chatted through the phone. But number 96 was in person, at one of those matchmaking shops. The matchmaker picked the place, and both of us showed up. That day, my mom and dad came along too. Number 96, to be honest, was actually quite handsome. Tall, clean appearance, well-groomed. He was even wearing a collared knit sweater, exactly my type. I felt a tiny spark. But it didn't work out. The main reason? He was way too introverted. The conversation was awkward and stiff. But what really made me give up was this. When I introduced my parents, "This is my dad, this is my mom," he had zero reaction. No smile, no nice to meet you, nothing. And when it was time to leave, he didn't even say goodbye. No thank you, no goodbye, aunt and uncle, not a word. I couldn't tell if he was just painfully shy, cold, or simply rude. But that left a really bad impression. Still, I didn't immediately reject him. We kept chatting on WeChat for a day or two. But around that time, my mom had to go to the hospital for an MRI. He kept asking when I'd be free to grab dinner, pushing to meet up. I told him I was busy at the hospital, and all he said was, "Did the results come out yet? Or how is she doing?" And I thought, this was your moment to show up. To ask, "Do you need help? Want me to come with you? Need someone to push the wheelchair?" But no. Nothing. He just kept trying to schedule dinner. And if you're not there when I actually need you, then what's the point of having you around? The opportunity was right there, to step up, show care, and he missed it. So that was it for number 96. Then came number 97. As soon as he sent me his photo, I was shocked. He looked older than my brother, and my brother is 5 years older than me. And yet, he was younger than me. Just had an extremely worn-out face. And on top of that, he didn't have a house. Well, technically he did. He said he bought a place almost 10 years ago, but the construction company abandoned the project and never delivered the apartment. One building in the complex got handed over last year. His? Maybe this year. Maybe never. Who knows? So in reality, he had no home. And okay, I'm not some beauty queen either, I know that. But when there's no chemistry, there's just no point. He was polite, respectful, but there was no spark. So, goodbye to number 97. Now, number 98. From the first moment, the looks were just not there. He added me on WeChat, sent his picture right away, nothing impressive. But more than that, he was arrogant. The kind of man with not much to offer, but a big ego. He spoke in this irritating tone. His words weren't wrong, but the way he talked was very off-putting. And then he insisted on making a voice call right away. Said he couldn't express himself through text. I'm super introverted. I hate those sudden calls. But he pushed, so I answered. And it was just as unpleasant as I imagined. Also, he's poor. His family can't help him, and I don't have much either. If both sides are struggling, how are we supposed to build a life together? I'm 42 years old, I need someone stable. Not looking for luxury, just someone to live life with, peacefully. Number 98 didn't last long. We talked for 2 days, and it faded. Gone, like the others. That makes 3 more guys, and nothing to show for it. And it's not like I'm being too picky. I just want someone I can connect with, someone who makes sense. But honestly, after almost 100 blind dates, with men of every kind, not a single one meeting even the most basic expectations, I got tired. One day, sitting on the couch, exhausted, I looked at my mom and said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore." And it was like I had committed a crime. From that moment on, my family became a non-stop machine of criticism. Every day, without fail. Don't you see you're running out of time? Even your younger cousin is married with a child. Do you really think you can be this picky at your age? You can't afford to be so choosy after 40. At first, I argued. Then I stopped. I just listened. Pretended it didn't hurt. But it did. And then came Chinese New Year. And with it, all the questions, all the pressure. That's when I made a decision. I wouldn't go through that again. I went on one of those rent-a-boyfriend websites. I picked a guy, polite, friendly, easy to talk to. We created a full story, met at a business event, been together for 6 months, he was in IT with a stable income, living alone. We rehearsed our lines, our smiles, our little gestures. We went to my parents' house for the holiday. And for the first time in years, my mother smiled proudly when people asked about me. The nosy ants stayed quiet. My dad offered him a drink. Even my grandmother, who had long given up on me, praised him. For a few days, I felt normal. Valued. Accepted. But lies don't last. One day, my mom said, "He's so nice. We should meet his parents. Invite them over for lunch." My heart sank. I made excuses. Travel, work, they weren't around. But she kept asking. Then one day, she called his number directly. He answered, out of character, wrong name, unprepared. Everything crumbled. Her face changed. She didn't yell, just looked at me like I was a stranger. My dad got up and walked away silently. The silence that night was worse than any shouting. After that, I went back to my city with a mix of shame, sadness, and, strangely, relief. Relief that I didn't have to keep pretending. But also the painful realization that in order to be treated with dignity in my own family, I had to fake a relationship. And now, here I am. At 42. A little more cynical. A little more realistic. But still, with a faint glimmer of hope. Waiting for number 99. Not expecting a fairy tale. Not looking for perfection. Just someone I can talk to without feeling like I'm selling myself. Someone who sees my worth without me having to prove anything. No paying. No pretending. I don't know if he exists. But if he does, I hope he doesn't come too late.
各位，我现在
Guys, seriously, I'm completely shocked. All because I decided to take a stroll through the marriage market at the park. And honestly, the impact hit me harder than watching a horror movie. So I figured I'd share it with you and see how you all react. To sum it up, here's what I observed. Those women, actually, some are already well into their 40s, so let's be respectful and call them ladies, listed the following requirements in their matchmaking ads. First, the man has to be at least 1.75 meters tall, well-groomed, and not overweight. Second, he needs to be well-educated, at least a bachelor's degree. No uncultured guys allowed. Third, he must own an apartment over 100 square meters in the city center. And it has to be fully paid off. No mortgage, because that would apparently lower the quality of life. Fourth, even if you have the apartment, don't celebrate just yet. You'll also need to pay rent for her parents because, get this, About 80% of these ladies wrote that their future in-laws must not live with the couple. No clear reason why. Maybe they're just worried the parents will interrupt the mood. Fifth, if you've made it this far, congrats. Now comes the income check. Most require a minimum annual income of 200,000 yuan, and some go as high as 300,000. I don't know if you qualify, but when I saw that, my blood pressure spiked instantly. If yours hasn't yet, let's keep going. Sixth, you need to own a car, and not just any car. It must be worth at least 200,000 yuan or more. Seventh, as for the bride price, the traditional gift from groom to bride's family, it's not too crazy here. Some local women didn't even list an amount. Maybe they don't ask for one. But generally, I saw a lot asking for 100,000 yuan, with the highest around 300,000. With a loan, maybe you could make it work. Eighth, your parents must be healthy, have their own medical and retirement insurance. In other words, they can't be a burden to the couple. Honestly, I could tolerate the over-the-top demands up to a point. But number 4 and number 8 just broke me. Think about it. The man's parents are often the ones who help pay for the house, the car, everything, and yet these women don't even want them to live in the home or help them if they get sick. Even a heartless wolf would bow to these women as masters. And here's the craziest, or maybe the saddest part. Even with all these insane demands, some of the women, especially the older ones, had a completely different goal. They were just looking to pay a man to pretend to be their boyfriend during Chinese New Year. Yeah. For real. Just 1 week at their family's house, acting like a couple, just so their relatives wouldn't pressure them about being single. And honestly, those women were more realistic than the others. At least they weren't dreaming of some tall, rich, debt-free prince. Now, the tragic punchline. Thinking about it, I only meet one of these 8 conditions. Which means, I'm not even qualified to be emotionally abused by these standards. What a failure. So what about you? How many of these requirements do you meet? Drop a comment or a Danmu, real-time overlay. I'm really curious how many of you can actually qualify. Anyway, on a serious note, I actually admire their boldness. They managed to turn a matchmaking corner into a wall of unrealistic wishes. Even the most enlightened monk would shake his head. And let's be real. Isn't the whole point of matchmaking to find someone to spend your life with? But these ladies look at everything except the person's character. All they see is money. So, if you're looking for love, don't go to the marriage market at the park. Just ask your aunts, uncles, or whoever in your family still believes in real love.
I'm looking for a man who's never had sex with his ex-girlfriend. And that's really hard to find. The young lady we ran into last time at People's Park is back again for another blind date. This time, let's hear her specific requirements. Miss, how old are you? Born in 94. I'm 29 this year. Where are you from? I'm from the northeast of China. So what made you come all the way to People's Park for matchmaking? Just another channel, you know? One more opportunity. If I rely only on my social circle, the options are too limited. Have you been on blind dates before? Yeah, many times. Quite a lot actually. And none of them worked out? Nope. I just haven't met anyone I liked. Most of them don't meet my standards. Either financially, emotionally, or past relationship history. Why do you think that is? I want a man who's never had sex with his ex. And that's really difficult to find. Especially at this age. Why are you so insistent on that? Everyone's different. Everyone has their own standards. For me, I just don't want someone who's already done that. I want to feel special. I don't want to think that he's shared something intimate with someone else. It's emotional for me. I just can't accept it. Some might say that's unrealistic. Maybe. But I'm not going to compromise on something I care deeply about. This is my life. Why should I settle? What do you do for a living right now? I'm an entrepreneur. Trying to build my own brand. Still in the early stages. And your annual income? None at the moment. I'm still climbing, still investing in myself. What are your hobbies? I love traveling, exploring new places, trying different cuisines. I enjoy spa days, fine dining, city walks. Life is about experiences. Besides that one requirement you mentioned, do you have any other hard criteria? Yes.
His annual after-tax income should be at least 600,000 yuan. That's the bare minimum. I've worked hard on myself, I expect the same energy. Also, he must own property in Shanghai, preferably in the city center. I won't marry into someone else's mortgage. What about height or age? Age is flexible. I don't mind if he's older or younger as long as he's mature. But I do prefer someone at least 175 centimeters tall. Looks matter too. I won't lie. After so many blind dates, do you still believe in love? I do. I believe love exists, but it has to be on the right terms. It should be based on mutual value and boundaries, not just emotions. What does your family think about the fact that you're not married yet? At first, they were really pressuring me. Every time I called home, they'd bring it up. It was exhausting. But honestly, I only go home once a year during Chinese New Year. Last year, I had enough. I hired a fake boyfriend online, took him home with me. He played the part so well. My parents were thrilled. Since then? Silence. They completely stopped bothering me. It was the best investment I ever made. Did it feel strange faking something so personal? Not at all. It gave me peace. They got what they wanted, a photo, a fake smile, a temporary illusion. And I got my freedom back. Win-win. Your standards are quite specific. What do people around you say? Some support me, some think I'm delusional. Especially the no sex with ex rule, that's the one that shocks most people. I've gone on dates where after I mention that, the guy just shuts down. Conversation ends. Honestly, I can tell from the look on their face, they already know they don't qualify. Are you open to lowering your standards in the future? No. Compromising now just means I'll regret it later. I'd rather be alone than constantly feel disappointed. How do you view relationships between men and women today? I don't like judging others. But for me, I think too many people jump into relationships out of fear of being alone. I'd rather wait. I want someone who's clean, emotionally and physically. I do look at appearance first. But more importantly, I want someone I can respect. And what if that person never comes? Then I'll live a good life on my own. I'm not scared of being single. I'm scared of being with the wrong person.
And after so many blind dates, absurd demands, and painfully awkward conversations, one thing becomes crystal clear. These women aren't single because there are no men. They're single because they've built an impossible list of requirements that not even they seem to believe in anymore. Yes, they say they want a man who's tall, handsome, owns a house downtown, drives a paid-off car, earns 6 figures, graduated from a top-tier university, and ideally, has never had an ex. But when they realize that this man doesn't exist, or is already married to someone with more reasonable expectations, they don't adjust the list. They pay. They pay for a fake boyfriend. A well-rehearsed actor, rented for a few days, just to play the role in front of the family. Yes, that's right. In the theater of social pressure, love has been demoted to background character. And the relationship? It's just a scripted scene to dodge judgment at the New Year's dinner. Meanwhile, on the other side of the story, men are watching all this and thinking, is it worth stepping onto this stage? Instead of a date, they're walking into a job interview, with requirements only a Wall Street investor could meet. So what do? They disappear, sometimes during dinner, sometimes after the first message, because they figured it out. Where there are expectations without reciprocity, the smartest move is to retreat and save your soul and your wallet. In the end, we have a dating market where no one loves, no one compromises, and everyone's acting. Women pretend they have boyfriends. Men pretend they're still interested. And love? It's on vacation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and, of course, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think these kinds of standards still have a place in the real world? Or has love become just another item on sale with a down payment in delusion and monthly installments of disappointment? See you in the next video. Until then,